Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Talk Science Show. Today, I have a very special guest with me. I have Dilshad of Dilshad Gold Refinery with me. Welcome, Dilshad.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Dilshad, we're going to talk about gold today, and you've been in the dealing room for quite some while now, dealing with gold on a daily basis. So I'm very curious to know what is happening in the market. Now, one of the things is that before you start off, I would love to, if you could give us an overview how the gold ecosystem has come about right now.
Well, it is always a very exciting environment in dealing room, and I'm used to trade from quite long. And the thing is that the ecosystem, if we talk about gold, there is many stakeholders like major bank participate in the market, and traders participate in the market, and this market works 24 hours. 23 hours is a Globex market,
Okay.
and 1 hour of the electronic system, it works as a block trades. So major bank participate in this, and there is a spot market, there is a future market, and there is forward contracts where anybody can participate in gold transactions.
So if you look at these three different ways of markets, basically, which one is the bigger one as going forward? Is this really the futures market, which is the largest?
Yeah, well, because future market, there are many speculative positions are there, so the volume is definitely very high. But the real market is a spot market, OTC market, where the real transaction take place, the physical transaction. Okay.
The physical gold basically happens out of there, right?
Yes.
And these are not contracts, but they're real physical gold going from place A to B.
Yes.
All right. So looking at price movement as we go forward, basically, I mean, we know also that price has been moving a lot. How are, the fundamentals behind this price movement come together?
Well, there are major economic concerns going on, as we aware of that there is trade issues, okay, the trade war, US-China trade war, and there is physical demand increasing, especially from central banks. All the major central banks buying gold consecutively in last few months. If you can see, nobody wants to sell the gold. Everybody is looking to buy, and especially Central Bank of China, Turkey, Russia, they are the major participant in central bank buying program.
So there has been a huge demand basically for gold looking at the last couple of months. And what you are saying basically that governments, basically central banks of governments are basically buying it in bulk and not able to sell. So there is kind of like a shortage right now in the gold market as we speak. So looking at who are basically the stakeholders in such an ecosystem, right? I mean, there are different people who are participating in this market. One of them are definitely the gold central banks, as they keep them in their safes. But who are the other participants in these markets?
Well, there are gold miners, there are gold refiners, there are bullion dealers, and there are end consumer and retail consumer. Like if you can see that the major demand came from jewelry sector.
Okay.
Almost 60% demand came from jewelry sector.
Yes.
Then the central banks, investors, bullion investor, and people used to hedge their portfolio by taking some position in gold. It is just best instrument to hedge the risk, to hedge the volatility, and it's just a safe investment. It's a safe haven.
So I mean, you just talked on something very, very what is happening basically in the market is that usually around Diwali, these darker months of the year, there is usually from the retail market a bigger demand for gold. I mean, I remember when I was smaller that my parents would buy gold at this point of time during this Diwali time. Can we see a similar kind of trend happening this year again?
Yeah, of course. It's happening every year and year. Okay, and there is a good demand like Akshay Tritiya. Okay, everybody used to buy gold during that period, and this festival season, and there is a marriage season also. So from India, there is a good demand in gold, and India is the biggest among the biggest consumer of gold. So definitely, it impact on the global price.
I got it. And going forward, I mean, you've talked just now about China, and China is basically in a trade war between when it comes to with the US. Are there any other reasons why China is buying gold except from the central bank? Is there also some like local demand out of there?
Of course, there is a local demand also, and Chinese people recently Chinese New Year during that time also they buy, and they also have a tradition like an Indian and Asian. They also have a tradition to buy gold.
Got it.
And it affects the retail demand and the investment demand also. China is in a leading position to affect this investment demand, and they are increasing their gold reserve from a long time. And when if you go back to the past and you see during 2008 and 2009, once market gold prices started to move from 900 area, and it take a very good rally of $1,000 in a history. They make a high time at 1950, 1925 gold reached. This all because of central bank buying program and the global economic concern. There was ongoing issues with the mortgage issues. Okay, so whenever there is a economic situation not stable, then you will see the demand in gold picks up.
I got it. Now, one of the things I also want to talk about how easy it is basically to buy physical gold, right? If I'm a retail investor into gold, how easy is it to buy gold? What are the steps do I need to take?
Well, gold, if we talk about bullion, then there is 1 kg gold bar, and there is 12 kg also gold bar. So usually investor buy that 12 kg, but retail people also can buy 1 kg bar. This is the kilo bar, and then they can go for a coin also. From 10 gram to 100 gram there is a coin, and the purity, they have to look at purity. Okay, what is the purity? Purity comes under two category, like 999.9, 999.9. This is the purest form of gold. Okay. And then the another purity is 995. It means if you are buying 100 gram of gold and it is 995, then actually you are buying 99.5%, 99.5 gram of gold.
Got it. So I mean, so that purity is a little bit. So these two things basically we always have to see. What is the purity of the gold? It is 99.999.9, or is it 999.5 basically going forward? So looking at what is the forecast basically when it comes to gold prices, I think that within the gold price, I mean, if we look at the back, basically, it's been quite stagnant for a couple of years. But at the beginning of this year, we saw basically that the prices are going up significantly. There is high volatility. Is there any explanation except the US-China trade war?
Well, gold was in a narrow range since last 3-4 years. Okay. And once the global fear and the economic fear increase, then definitely people start to moving to safe investment. And gold provide them that. Okay. Since the beginning of this year, all the things are accumulating. Central bank were buying. Okay. And then US Treasury yields 10 to 2 years yield also narrowing. The returns from the US investment were not good. So all this all this push to people towards the gold, towards safe investment. And there is a central bank interest rate decreasing. Okay, last year Fed was increasing their rate. Okay, and from the beginning of this year they start cutting the rates. So whenever they cut the rate, it also provide a good boost for gold purchase.
Correct. Correct. So, I mean, what you're trying to say is basically when interest rates are cut, then usually you see movement in the gold market basically happening.
Yes.
And this has obviously hugely impacted what we've seen in the last couple of months. Going forward, can you give an idea where this price of gold will be going this year? Because, I mean, I've been talking to different people and there is really, a shortage of gold in the market, and that means basically that there is about to be a price jump, or the price has been already calculated at that higher level. How do you see this price movement happening?
Well, this year I believe that the price movement already take place. Okay, in the beginning of the year, I have mentioned in some public forum, when gold was around 1250 level, that time we give a comment that okay, now the momentum is starting and the price can move around 1550 or 1600 level. And already this year price moved 1550. So I believe that the momentum is already taken place, and the next year we can see almost around 1750 to 1800 mark. The thing is that the whole idea is that the bullish trend is started, okay, and it will not stop here. You will see a new high. The all-time high of gold is 1925 around, and definitely in coming year you will see that it will break.
Okay. Something else, other interesting I wanted to talk about this. Of course, there is a consumption of gold, right? I mean, if you look at computers, laptops, gold is used for some kind of consumption, but at the same time we have also, at the other hand, there are gold miners basically, where the supply of gold is being, made bigger worldwide. How are these markets taking off? I mean, is there really a big diminish of, because of the consumption of gold, that you see that gold is being used and never comes back to this market? And how's the inflow of gold basically coming for new people who are basically owning gold mines getting into this market?
Well, the fact is that the supply is always maintained in bullion industry. Even though there is high demand, the supply is limited. Okay, if we go back to the history, then I can say the supply could never be at more than 2.5% increment level. Every year it increases at a certain point. You cannot dump the gold in the market. Okay, there is a limited ability to take it out from the earth to mine, and it is around 2% to 3%. That's why it holds its value.
Okay, that's the reason why it holds its value, because so there is some percents coming out and some percent coming into the market, and that creates basically the price as we go daily forward. Now, we've talked about the ecosystem, what is going on, and I want to dive a little bit deeper into the stakeholders as it is. Maybe one by one you can, explain to me a little bit what these stakeholders are, because I was only aware that basically looking at retail investors, buy gold as it is, but I was very much surprised to hear that central banks, for example, are also now a big stakeholder in buying this gold. Could you explain this to me?
Well, we always, a retail investor always look at gold as a perspective of jewelry. Okay. But there is a lot of use of gold, especially for investment purpose. Here, regulatory authorities or organization like LBMA, come take place they play a major part in regulating the market and even providing a market. Okay, so in business industry, whenever we make a deal, then we used to check that benchmark. For example, if I am a buyer of gold and I need to buy any investment bar from any other counterparty or any other stakeholder, then I will look that this bar are at the standard of LBMA or not.
Okay.
Either it is a LBMA approved bar, okay, which is called London Good Delivery. So LBMA London Good Delivery bar, they have their own standard, and all the major banks accept that. Okay, according to that standard, Dubai also give one accreditation like Dubai Good Delivery Bar.
Okay.
So whenever some person going to buy bar, they have to look that did this refinery have that accreditation, or the bars are under that program or not. So these are the major things. And other parties, other stakeholders like in Dubai, DMCC.
Okay. Yes.
They are playing very, very tremendous, and they are playing a major role to regulate the market, even though providing a better environment for growth. Okay. DGCX also, they are providing gold trading facility, future contracts also, spot contract also. And if you look internationally, then there is a CME. Okay, CME provide 100 ounce gold trading contract, even 10 ounce also. So people can participate through various ways. Either they can purchase their physical gold and keep involved with any secure company or any logistic or any security provider company, okay, or they can keep with themselves as well, or they can take a position in market like DGCX future contract. They can take a position, or they can take a position in CME COMEX 100 ounce standard contract, or they can buy a ETF also.
Fantastic.
Okay, SPDR is the leading ETF in gold.
Okay.
Okay, they are holding around SPDR. Now the current level are going approximately 141 mark. Okay, and they are holding more than 900 tons physical gold.
Wow.
Okay, so anybody can participate from the smaller amount to the bigger amount to hedge their risk or to diversify their portfolio.
I got it. So, I mean, what you're trying to say is basically that there is a London standard basically for gold, but also Dubai has got its own standard, which is comparable to the London standard, and which is like worldwide accepted as we go forward. Now, one of the things I also looked at basically was that gold has been people either accumulate it or people also try to trade it. Now you are sitting there in the dealing room where people call you up that they have something to offer and to do and to take away. How much in a year of physical gold goes in and out in on your dealing room?
Well, our refinery consecutively making 35 plus ton yearly. Okay, this is the physical transaction.
So 1 ton is 1,000 kilos.
1 ton is 1,000 kilo. Yeah,
wow.
Of course. So 35 ton, like sometime 32, sometime 30, sometime 37. We are making consecutively last 5 years. Okay, and the trading volume is obviously double than this, because sometime client used to buy their position and market jump, they feel that it's a good opportunity, they can book their profit, so they close their position and then they take that profit, and then again once they require this gold, they wait for the suitable time, whenever market drop to their level, they buy back, they buy again. So there is a good volume, I can say.
Fantastic. So it's really good to hear that so much, thousands of kilos are basically being physically traded. That's really phenomenal to hear. Dilshad, thank you so much for coming to the Talk Sense show and explaining how this market works and what are the features as going forward. I'm really curious to see if we're going back to that all-time high. It was 1925.
1925.
Let's see, maybe if next year we're going to reach that.
Probably. Yeah.
And we'll have you back again to talk on how that journey has been for you as well.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.